Hello, folks. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining the webinar. My name is Abhishek, and I am the IoT market analyst and core member of the business development team at Factana. So, let me start with a brief introduction of ourselves. Factana is a cognitive IoT company specialized in industrial automation, and we provide industrial IoT solutions to small and medium businesses. So, on this webinar, we are focusing on the Fogwing Industrial IoT Platform, and we will be providing a demonstration on that. And as we have released update recently, the version is 1.6. So we will be talking more about the update and its features. So moving on to the webinar, our founder, Mr. Hariharan, is the speaker of this webinar. Hari, over to you.
Thank you, Abhishek. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining this. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are connected from. I'm excited because we have took a long journey and we are currently in version 1.6, very focused towards industrial IoT platform and solution development. Um, Today I will be, presenting about the platform, a little deeper dive into each and every functions that we are releasing in version 1.6, and the capability that our users can achieve with this platform and things like that. Before that, we are, just a tech startup company, 21st century startup company. Our innovation center is in Bangalore, India. We focus more on industrial IoT platform and solutions. We provide platform for our users, customers to build IoT or industrial IoT use cases. We also provide IoT-based SaaS applications, which are kind of a plug-and-play application for our users, a small, medium business where they don't have the IT capability to build IoT kind of business. So our solution. That's where our focus is. We are end-to-end shop where we will provide every device to platform and solutions. Customer may pick our device, or they can bring their own device and then they can connect with our platform. Or if customer or partner or users are more of a buyer, they can buy our SaaS application that comes with our devices. That can be a plug and play. We have set of product lines that we are working on. As of now, we have a platform. We have an environment monitoring solution, which is available as a SaaS solution. And also we have an agriculture solution, which also available as a SaaS solution. We are still working on our manufacturing automation solution, which will be coming up very soon. On the platform side, we are a platform provider. We build everything as a application and platform and applications. So overall, we have enterprise cloud. In the enterprise cloud, which on which we are the foundation of the enterprise cloud is the industrial IoT platform that we have built and exposed to our community and partners and customers. On top of the enterprise industrial IoT platform, where we build all of our SaaS solutions. So this is how we have structured together. As I said earlier, our user, customer can build IoT solution, or they can buy their solution from us. Either way, they get the value out of that. And we are very focused towards small and medium business, where they may not have a capacity and capability to go and buy and use the larger IoT platforms like Azure or AWS or Google IoT, where you need a lot of IT technical knowledge to build the end-to-end solution. Fogwing is intention to solve the end-to-end need in a simple way for the small and medium business where the capacity and capability are very limited. I take a few minutes to talk about the architecture of the platform, and then we will go into a more of a demo. We are not going to talk more on the presentation. We are going to show more on the platform side, on how the platform works and what are the configuration, things like that. But in general, in the architecture, right, it's very important to understand before you start working on the platform to have a more meaningful name on each and every function that we are providing. As a platform, it's a cloud platform. It's running on the cloud. Anybody can just subscribe to the platform as a community user or a paid user, and then you can start using the platform. The fundamentally the platform comes and supports two major category of network. We call one category as the edge network, which is more like your cellular network, your Wi-Fi based network, or your physical wired network, and all the edge devices that you are connecting to the platform are coming under the edge network edge network. And we also provide a low power LoRaWAN based network support where you can configure your gateway and your nodes and you can manage your configurations, and that is also available. The beauty of this platform is we provide support for both cellular based network as well as low power LoRaWAN based, either IBNOT and the LoRaWAN, or you are connected through LTEM or any other protocol. You still can connect to our platform and work with that. Once we connected to the platform, the data aggregation is inbuilt. Every process that we created in the backend, it's inbuilt. The data processing is also inbuilt, but can be driven by your data roles. You also have option to define the data roles. You also have an option to store the data in the platform. You also have option to trigger commands, send the OTA to your devices, and all of them you manage through our web layer, which is control center. So everything is through web layer, web browser based. You just access it, you configure your device, you configure your rules, you configure your commands, and you process your engine, you trigger alerts, all of them done through the web control. And on top of that, you need not stick with our platform. You can take your data to your own different enterprise, environment. Either it's a cloud environment or your own application environment where you want to feed the data to see the data in your application side. You still can do that with the help of our cloud integration or the APIs that we have exposed inside the platform. Now, in terms of the functions of the platform. Today, we are going to focus more on almost all the functions. We'll start with the device management. We go on step by step. So basically, the way that I'm going to present it is, it will be like, you are starting a new registration, and then what are the steps that you need to do that to, start seeing the full function of the platform. To start with, so go to any browser and you can type like enterprise.fogwing.net, which you can also come through our fogwing.io website. You can just go to our website, fogwing.com or fogwing.io, and then you just say that get started. Once you click on the get started, you will be landing into the web console or the landing page of the platform. And then you go here and create an account. If you want to create a new account, you don't have an account, go to the sign up page, and then you just feed all the data and click on the sign up. Once you created the sign up, immediately accounts created, probably on a couple of minutes delay, because this basically doesn't allow you to go inside. It create an account in the backend, and that is trigger a email invite to you to sign in. Once you receive the email invite, which pretty much happening within few seconds, you can come back to this. You can land up in this sign in page, and then you can log in. So today I'm going to use my existing account. So I click on the login. Yeah. So once you click on the login, you will be landing in dashboard. I do have a couple of devices configured, but if you are a new account, you may not see any devices, but we still see this the sample dashboard and things. What is dashboard? So this is a primary place where you will be quickly check your connections, device status, and connections. By the way, a Fogwing platform is a device agnostic platform. You can bring any devices. Either the device could be your simply Raspberry Pi or Arduino, or you can have industry grade LoRaWAN sensor or LoRaWAN gateway or the 3G, 4G, or 2G. devices that you built on your own. So it doesn't matter. You bring any devices and you can connect here. We focus more on the cloud side of that. We don't really give that tight binding to the device side of that, so that gives the flexibility to our users to use any devices. And when you are landing in the dashboard, so the dashboard displays like active edges, the already how many edges you have configured, how many edges are connected, where you can see this the couple of things is connected here, right? So when you click on the connections, you will see that what is that particular device details and things like that. We can also and see the end to end of that. And then you also see the number of data received, so you can see the trending. The warning and alerts are something like you configure it in the system based on the device data that you are receiving, and you want to set up a rule and you want to trigger alert. Those kind of alerts, you can set it up as a warning alert or critical alert depending upon your data variations. If any of the device is not connected, it will be indicating here. And this particular thing, it shows the number of size. So this also you can see here, the total storage size that you are available and the size that you have utilized so far. This gives you an indication of how far you are storing your data. Are you exceeding the limit that you have? Here, a couple of things you need to note it down. If you are a community user, you are allowed to connect two devices. There is no trial period. You can connect two devices. You see all the functions applicable to the community users. And if you are, if you want beyond the two devices connection and you want enterprise functions, there is a functional difference between that. If you want enterprise functions, like I'm seeing here, right? So what are the functions? So this account, the account that I'm showing now, is an enterprise account, so where you can see all different menus available. So if you want to see that, you need to upgrade your account from the community account to the enterprise account, which is a paid account where you can connect and then you can keep adding more, depending upon the level of subscription that you are subscribing to that. You will get more storage space for storing large number of data. With that, right? So we have a live view of the devices connected from across global, and we see all the different data in the dashboard. Now, the very first time when you're logging in, you may not see all the data because you have not configured anything at all, right? So you need to go step by step. So the first step is to create application. What is application is? Application is something like a project, right? So this is virtually you're grouping together the devices. When you are a small and medium business, you have more than number of devices, and you want to see a category of the devices on a particular grouping together. It may be grouping by function, like monitoring the climate of all my environment, or it may be grouped by business unit. Let's say I wanted to monitor my supply chain, right? I want to monitor my supply chain and track movement. That also you can try, capture it here, and then you can group together those things as a logistic application, or you may grouping together as a monitoring application for temperature climate changes. Or if you are in agriculture, you want to monitor your land, this the soil performance, the soil NPK or soil temperature or moisture level. You can group together whatever category that you think virtually you want to group a set of devices. You need to group together, right? So, and all the reports, everything is based on this application. Without creating application, you may not able to add any devices into the platform, because application is the foundation for all of them. So now the application very simple. You just click on the application where you can fill the details. You can fill any details here. So we would recommend that you fill the meaningful details, because this is what is you are going to get it at the later point in all different menus that you are going through. So having a proper application name with the proper locations is very important to create a reports or looking at the information, device performance informations at later point. Now, since I already created the application, I'm not going to create a new application, but I will show you the subsequent steps. So now you can also edit application once you create it, but you cannot delete application if you already attached any your devices with that. Application is the foundation, right? So you cannot delete the application, but you can still modify the application. So now I have application created with the warehouse climate monitoring and all the entries. I have completed it. Now next step is, once you created the application, next step, if you notice this, I know I talked about a couple of things, right, in the beginning, like a couple of network. One is edge network, another one is the low power LoRaWAN network. By default, the LoRaWAN network is not enabled for all the customers for security reasons. And based on the request, we will enable to the customer, and that's only applicable to the subscribed customers where they want to use the LoRaWAN network, and that network will be enabled here. But right now, in this particular account and in this demo, we are going to focus more on the edge network. We will have a separate demo for the LoRaWAN network. So today's focus is more on the edge network, so that's why this particular account has only edge network. Now, within the network, edge network, which is more or like any device, right? Any wired or wireless devices that independently connecting to the cloud platform, Fogwing cloud platform, that should be configured as an edge devices. Now click on the edge device. So I already have a couple of devices, and you can also see here the total number of devices I configured, how many devices I am licensed to that, so that you know that what is your license number based on your subscription, and how many devices you can connect with. So this particular account has a 10 limitations, which is purely based on your need, and you can set it up, or you can request us to set it up through our support system. Now, couple of things I already configured it, but just for the demo purpose, let me configure a third one. So this is going to be my new device that I'm going to set it up. I'm going to set it up in this warehouse in London. London Edge. This is 01. This is a warehouse in London. Now, as I said, the application name, right? So application that you created in the previous, section, right? That's very important because you need to pick and attach the edge device to the application. Now you select the application. I would say that, okay, this one is indoor, right? So I can say that it's a 3G network. It's an independent 3G network. Edge type is 3G connection connector. MAC. MAC ID is very, very important because this is the way that we also uniquely identify the device that connected to that. We don't, as per the Fogwing architecture, it doesn't allow the duplicate device communication. For the security purpose, we only allow unique devices so that this duplication or multiple devices connecting with the same MAC ID is completely prevented for all the security reasons. So today I'm going to create one with I do have a Mac ID. I'm going to create one 63 29 61 62. Okay. And then once I created the Mac, once I entered the valid Mac ID, which is very, very important, and then I need to create a device identifier. This device identifier is additional security check to make sure that the Mac ID, the device ID, and the other configuration that we are creating are important to make the connection to the platform. So we create to generate a device ID, just click on the button to generate a device UID. Then latitude, let's take, we're going to do it in London, right? So let's go to the Google, type London, latitude, and long. Yeah, let me take this one. So I'm going to configure because you how to by default configure this to make it working, but this also can be replaced by your device data when the device is attached with the automatically it's filled up. You don't need to type anything here on the location. As soon as you fill the latitude and longitude, it's automatically detecting it. So the reason why we have to enter this latitude longitude, because it should be it's a default configuration. But when the device is sending with the attached device with attached GPS sending a latitude longitude, this will be updated by that configuration. Model number, okay, I say that Arduino version number version 3. Edge OS, I just say that embedded edge version number 10. This is all default configuration, whatever you want to configure. And one important point is that you need to configure this offline alert. What does that means is If this device goes offline, automatically this configuration will trigger the alert to say that this particular device is offline. To the so this alert will default go to the admin, which is the who is the creator of this account, and they will be receiving the the email alert whenever the device is going offline. So that's the best way to prevent it, rather than coming and checking the device status in this console, um, and things like that. So this is more proactive. Yeah, successfully I created the edge devices. Now this is a next step, right? So once you created edge devices, now you configure the base of edge device. Now you can see that warehouse London is listing here. You can go back to the dashboard. You can see that the London also, and now you see here it's in the gray color. It is not connected one. So you can also see here the number of devices, three, but only two is active, means two is connected. One is unconnected, right? So that's the way it's indicating that you have not connected it. But once you are connected with that, whenever it goes disconnected, it will show in a red color as disconnection. But next step, once you created the edge, the next step is to give a access to that particular device. Now you need to allow the device to connect it, right? And the device has to be any devices. Since we are device agnostic, we don't push the devices through triggering part. It's more responsibility of the device development team to configure this particular information in the devices when they're sending the data. By the way, Fogwing receives the data in the form of JSON only. So if you are sending any other type of data format, the process will not accept it, because that's the way we validate it. No scripting, other things are coming to our platform. This is again for the security reason. We strictly follow the JSON structure. So we recommend you to send only JSON structure from your devices. Now, once we created the edge network, now we need to create an access for that. It's a very simple step. So you select your edge device, and then you go here. I follow the standard one. By the way, this username should be unique. It cannot be duplicate. So each device will have a unique username password. This is again the way that device has to connect with. Without this configuration, device cannot connect it. This is the way to provisioning the device to connect it securely. This is the way to separate the devices connection. This is the way to handling the device connections and all. So you need to create a IoT hub access, and that access detail has to be configured. As soon as you create this, for your newly created edge device, yeah, successfully created, this also gives you a client ID. This is a unique ID created for this particular client, which is connecting through MQTT or in AR mode. Now, have created it. If you go to your email ID, the configured email ID, you should receive an email about this new client created. But you can also see here, go to the view, and now you have three options to connect it. By default, you have MQTT access. You can also connect through API access. UDP access also available, but it is more restricted to the on request basis right now. It is not available for commonly to all. But if you want the UDP access for your device, because of your device limitations, you can still connect through UDP. But typically, we recommend you to use the MQTT access. So when you click on the MQTT access, you will see all the access details, everything. Now, this is where you have configured your edge device and your access in the platform. So this is where we stop as a device configuration, right? Now we created the application, we configured the device, we created the access. Now next step is we need to go on configure our device to connect it. As I said, device is your own devices. You can write any device programs, any device depending upon the device. If it is you are using Arduino, you can write the Arduino program, or Pi, Raspberry Pi. You can use Python or any language that you prefer to use it. But if you want a simulator program, you don't need to write a program directly, and you want to have access to the program, and you still have it. We create a SDKs, we create a simulators. So go to our GitHub repository. You can easily go to that by looking at the SDK repository, where you can see a set of projects. So where you can see a lot of programs are already pre-created. You can see digital twin simulators, right? UDP simulator or APA simulator, or the Raspberry Pi based or Raspberry Pi based Python simulator. So now you can go here, you can download these simulator programs. There are a set of sample programs available. You can run this program into your Python, Raspberry Pi, or any other devices. You can send your data. So by taking sample message, you will see the setup um, programs where you have a configure the client ID, device ID, and things like that. So everything you configure it here, and automatically it works. So you can use it. You don't need to write a program. You can take our SDKs from our platform. There are other set of SDKs also available for you to work on different configurations or different parameters. Now, in this demo, I'm not going to configure any device or anything. I wanted to simply show you how this is working. So I'm creating a simple MQTT client. I'm already using for testing purpose. So I'm going to demonstrate this. So now I have created a new edge as a London-based warehouse edge, which is still not connected, right? I have created an account, but it is not connected. Now I go to my MQTT client. I create a new client. This is my MQTT client program, the MQTT box, which you can use it for simply testing. So I'm going here as a warehouse, London, right? This is H01 in London location. Okay, so this is the MQTT client. So now I come here in my platform, I copy this, the client ID, I replace that here. I don't want this to be appended with anything like that. And then the protocol, very important, the protocol should be secure. You can also use unsecured connection, but we always recommend to use a secure connection if your device has a limitation or you have a programming limitation in your device which you cannot connect to the secure MQTT connection. You can use the unsecured MQTT connection, but I will always recommend to use the secure MQTT connection. Now IoT Hub, here is the server host. You configure here the server host, and then you select server signed certificate, username, password that you already created, right? Okay, and then you also have a password that you configured, right? At this stage, you configured all basic things. You save this. Yeah. Now you see here it's connected. So that means this connection has been established to our MQTT IoT Hub access, through which only you will be connecting to our platform. So all your devices can be connected like that. And this is already shows that it is connected. But the topic where you need to publish it, right? So this is the published topic, right? So you need to copy the topic where you want to publish it. Very important piece. You need to replace this plus symbol indicator with the help of your client ID or your UID, because this is where the queuing is available for you to send the data. So now I created the MAC UID. This is where the uniqueness of the data also stored. Whenever the different devices sending data, each and every device data not going to the same pool, it's all going to the different pool. So you need to configure this particular section to make sure that it's going to the right topic where this messages are isolated. That's the way the process also working in the backend. Now everything is done. What's the data I should send it? Yeah, very important piece. As I said, you have to send the JSON structure, but just to give you a testing purpose, to give you a pre-configured one. So we created this sample data format based on your client ID and your configuration. It's all pre-filled with that. So you take it and put it here. But I wanted to reduce this payload. You can send the two type of JSON structure. You can send a simple plain key value pair JSON structure. Also, you can send a nested JSON structure where you have to send the multiple sensor data and you need to group together by nested payload. You can do that. But for this demo purpose, I make it as a simple JSON structure. So here, a couple of things you need to note it down. You need to send the device UID. You need to send the client ID. These two things are very important because connectivity wise, we have certain protocol to validate that whether the correct device is connected. Number two, whether the device is sending the correct data or not, right? That validation also is happening in the backend. We execute that value, not only that value, your data rules, your data verification, data processing, it works based on the device. So if you configure a device and you want to apply a set of data rules to a specific set of devices, you need to identify the devices. So this is kind of header information that you send along with your payload, and then that's the way it identify that. So you need to publish it, right? So I have configured the device ID as well as the client ID to say that this is the device that is sending data. Each and every device has to send a unique data. Now this is published. Okay, now I have published it, which means the data has been published. It's connected. I could send the data to the cloud, right? As of now, this is done. All the device connection part, right? Going back to that device management, we created application, we created the edge device, we created access for the device, we configured the device in the device side, we have sent the data. So now we have done with the device aspect of that. Next step is the data aspect of that, right? Now I send the I send the data to the cloud. Is the data available? How do I check that, right? That's where you go to the storage. You go to the storage where you can see the set of data already populating. I have created a lot of data here, but these data are coming from different devices. You can see the devices like this is Rosor, this is MacBook or device, different devices, testing devices. I created it. Now we are not seeing the London device, right? So it takes a couple of minutes for us to see that. Yeah, you see here. So the London data. So now I'm going and cross-checking this data. Okay, so this is the data that came from London, the newly configured edge device. I go and look at the view data where I can see the complete payload that I sent through this, right? So this is a client program where I sent it, and you can see this. Now you can also see that which client sent and what data it sent and when it sent. All the details is the payload details. You can verify it. The other way that you can also you can also see that, and you can also export the data. Now if you wanted to export all the data, you can also export the data. I will talk about this search option later part because there's a separate section, but exporting data, viewing data is done. So now we have verified that the data is received in the cloud. Now, the next step is I wanted to set up a rules. I want to set up a rules to say that whenever my climate is going up or down, I want to send the alert. I want to receive the alert. I am not going to come to this platform and checking every time, right? So I need to get an alert whenever there is a drastic change in my data parameters. So that's where the data rules comes in picture. Now I have already created some set of rules, but you can also create a rules. Now go here. Now I'm going to create a rules. There are a couple of things you can do that. There's a predefined format. If you are sending a data key, right, the key values. If you're sending a data key in this format, you can do that, or you can write your custom, key value pairs. So now the first step is checking that I am selecting the edge device. This is why we have to configure the device. When the device is sending data, the device also send the device identifier in the payload itself. Therefore, we identify at the data level whether this particular data is coming from your particular device. Since the data rules is applied coupled to the against the device data, not all the data. So this is the way you need to configure it as per this current version, and we are working on to improve subsequent functions here. Now I have selected the edge device. Now I simply say that okay, I selected temperature because this is more of a warehouse climate monitoring. I create a greater than, let's take 80, right? Now here's the action, right? So you can create a info alert, or you can create a critical alert, warning alert, depending upon the data type. Now in this case, I am creating a warning alert because 80 is not that bad. Now I wanted to send it by email, SMS, webhook, or command. I will talk about the command later part. But email, SMS, webhook. If you have subscribed to the platform, you will see all different options. You can send webhook, you can send to your mobile app if you want to send it to your mobile app to trigger that alert, or you want to send it to the email. So here I am selecting the email. Here I am giving offering demo email, and then now in this stage you can keep this data rule created active, or you can keep this device inactive also. So you can on and off the rules depending upon the need. But one more thing, you can also run these rules at a specific time. Let's take, you want to run the particular data rule at a specific time within the day or within the month or something like that. So you can go to the schedule tab where you can define it, like how frequently you want to run this data rule, whether daily or weekly or monthly, and then when you choose that, you can also set the start and end time, which from which date to which date, which time to which time you want this rule to be applied. The rule will be applied only to the particular time. It will not be applied at all the times. So you can define it. But if you're not setting this up, the rule is applicable to all the time. So for this scenario, I'm not going to set it up. I'm just going to run this rule all the time. Okay, I've successfully created the data rule. Now I can go also see that I have created it. This is the application. This is the edge device. And this is the configuration I have created. You can create n number of rules against a particular device. Your upper limit, lower limit, whatever way you wanted to create it, you can create it. You can also activate it, deactivate it, or you can delete it. But you may not be able to edit it because it is already in the process. It's in the backend engine, so you may not be able to edit it. You only can deactivate it for time period. You can delete it if you don't want that. Okay, now I have created the data rules, right? This data rules is defined like greater than 80, right? That's warehouse. Let me go here. So now I'm saying that my temperature, I made it as a temperature capital and then 85. Let's take now 85 degree. I'm sending 85 degree, publish it. That's it. I published it 85 degree. Now, as per this data rule, it's supposed to be sending a alert, right? Let's wait for a few seconds. It takes a couple of seconds to process it. To cross check that, the last message that we received was 6 minutes ago. Still, we are waiting for the data to be coming here. Yeah, data received. So now the platform received the data and it's processed it. Okay, so now let's go and check that out. Yes, the temperature is 85.5. The data rule that we created is 80, right? It's greater than 80. It's supposed to send the alert. So where this send alert, yeah, there is a email alert that we configured. So this is it. Oh yeah, so you see here. So this is the temperature is 85. It's triggered alert that our temperature, the data rule that we are saying it's 80, but the live temperature is 85. So it's just indicate to us the similar way the SMS also it will trigger the SMS as well. So either way, you can configure. Now this is about data rule, right? We created a data rule, we trigger alert. Now let's move on to the next function I wanted to talk about. Querying part, right? This is one of the biggest beauty of this platform where you can go to the data and live query. Now, this is more like a live query, right? So you are going to the data storage, but you have plenty of data here, right? You want to know how the pattern of the data, how the data has changing over the period, right? The temperature. Let's take, we are more focused towards temperature monitoring, right? So this temperature, how the climate is variation is happening. So now go to the search option. In the search option, you can choose all your devices, or you can choose any one of the devices that you want to see that. If I choose the only one device, because that's only one data that we send, we may not see the entire performance of that. So let me select all of them right now for the sake of showing the demo. Right now, I select the last 30 days. What key that I wanted to search it, right? You may send a lot of parameters as part of your device data, right? If you go here, so here you are sending temperature, humidity, battery level, right? Your device battery level, and other parameters also sending. So this function you can search any parameters. So I'm basically for demo purpose, I'm selecting temperature, but you can search any key value pairs here to understand that. Now query this. That brings you a graphical view of how the data has variance over the last 30 days on across all warehouses, and you can also see the data in the bottom on how the data has been, the actual data values. Now here the calculation is happening behind the scenes. Now the process is bringing you the average, minimum, maximum, and average value. You want to remove average, you don't want to see the minimum, you want to see only minimum, maximum, or you want to see the minimum value temperature maintained or the maximum temperature maintained, right? So all different parameters you can see that, or you don't want to see, you want to just see the average. So all of them you can see that. You can also change to 24 hours, last 24 hours. This is how the variations in the temperature combine together. Now you want to see that because I think I will show you some of the parameter. This one I will remove all of the stuff. Okay, so I will show you one particular device. One particular device. Yeah, this is one particular device. Otherwise, it will be coming like a consolidation of all. So one particular device. This is the variance. Initially, there was not much variance, but later point it has some variance in minimum maximum temperatures. So like that, your data will be populating in the screen as well as this. So you can query the data and see how the data performing, and your particular data level you can do that. You can also query any key value pairs here. So this is a simple search option for you to analyze your data in the platform itself, regardless of whether you have a separate analytics engine or anything like that. You can still query the data and check the parameters and values and minimum maximum over the time period. So this is how you can process it within the platform itself. Otherwise, you can see here and you can export it here. If you want to export this data out of this, right? You don't want to export. You don't want to click the export button. You can click the export button and it will create a CSV file for you. It just download the CSV file for you. But if you don't want to export this data and you want to get the data at real time, right? You can go to our API interface. There is a menu item API interface. You click that. It will show you the data storage API where you can give your authorization keys to create a token, go through the security process, and you can query the data that you want. You can query the data in a specific date interval, or you can query all the data from your devices. So if you run this API, if you call this API, the data, you can extract the data out of Fogwing without going through the console part. So this is the way you need to connect your program to get the data out of Fogwing platform. The API is the only way right now you are, as a community user, you will be getting that. You also have a other mode of extracting the data. So the other mode of extracting the data or sending the data out of Fogwing is the integration, um, through integration, cloud integration. Let's take, you wanted to, you can extract through API, of course, as we showed, but you can send the data out of Fogwing Cloud to your Azure or other platforms through on request, on the blog or Azure or Google Cloud, wherever you want to send the data, you can send the data. You can also send the data to your, if you have a MongoDB instances where you want to send it, you can do that. This is right now, this is more like a on request basis. This is not attached with the platform, but we are working on the next releases where it will be coming by default for the enterprise subscribed users, and they can configure their own Azure cloud to push the data to the Azure cloud or AWS or whatever, wherever they want to send it. But right now, if you request us to send it, we will configure in the backend, and then it will be sent to your cloud. So you can do that in both way. Whether you configure it or we can through API or we can send it to your cloud. Either way, it is possible. Now, going back to our presentation, considering the time, okay, so we have gone through the query. The next one is the command. This is one of the finest one in the industrial cases where you may receive, let's take now in our cases, the cold storage or warehouse climate monitoring, right? warehouse, suddenly the temperature is rising in the warehouse, right? So we don't want that temperature rising. We wanted to control it. Let's assume that there is a big exhaust fan that you have in your warehouse. Whenever the temperature rises, you need to run the fan to push the hot air out of the warehouse environment. So you wanted to do that, but you don't want to do that always, right? The fan need not run always because you need to save some energy, right? Only when the temperature rises, the fan has to be running. So in this case, you can use the command to trigger your fan on and off. If your fan is attached with a device that can turn the fan on and off, right? So that is a separate device, right? You can configure a separate device as part of our edge network that will receive the data and then turn on the fan. But how do we send that command to the fan, right? To send the fan to the connected device or connected fan to trigger that. That's where we use command. Not only that purpose. If you have edge devices and you wanted to send patches to the or the updates, right, or firmware updates that you wanted to send it to the devices that's live on the field, right? You can still send it through command. You send it as a the firmware location. You send it to your device through command. Command is for both purpose, communicating back to the device rather than only receiving the data from the devices. Now, command, I have already created the command. There are two type of command that you can create it. There are command that you can create it by schedule, right? Every day you want to run the motor, right, at a particular time. Every day you want to run the fan at a particular time. You can run that by a scheduled basis. So you can create a command by schedule. So to create a command, just to choose the environment target edge, target device, which you want the device to be receiving the command. In this case, I selected this same warehouse. The device that is sending data, it's also receiving data. That's the assumption here, right? Then it says that now I will say the switch on. I just take it for simple purpose, simplification purpose. I just say that again, this has to be yeah, JSON. Then I choose that based on the rule, based on the schedule. What is rule is? You created the data rule, so the data rule is triggering alert. The same data rule can also trigger a command. Means whenever the whenever the temperature exceeding, right? Example, you take the temperature and then you say that okay, whenever my warehouse temperature exceeding 80 degree, I want the fan to be running, right? You can define it as a data-driven command, or you can configure the command as a scheduled command. Either way, you can do that, and then you choose that rule-based command, or you choose a schedule-based one, and then you create it. Right? You configure it, you create it. Okay. So now you created that rule-based. Now you need to attach that in the rule, right? So you need to create a rule for that separately, and the previous rule will not work. That is more of triggering emails, right? You need to create a separate rule for that. For to save the time, I already created a configuration command in the MQTT box, which I will be sending right now. So this one is running based on data value 90 degree and above, right? The temperature should be 90 degree and above. Let me show you this. I go back to here. I have the MQTT. Okay, so you see this client program where you have a subscribe part, right? Whenever you send the temperature above 90 degree value, this command will be triggered, correct? Okay, let me see this. Okay, you already have a command here, but I'm just want to show you that this is 100 degree temperature. I publish it here. Now this published message has to go to the cloud. The process runs, and then it triggers the command. Right? It takes few seconds to get the command triggered. So automatically you can see the second command. This is a previously executed command. Now the second command will appear here in this place. Meanwhile, I will go ahead and walk through other functions that you see in Fogwing. Okay, so apart from command, you have a notification where you can see all the performance. You can also see the notification, that list of notification trigger, either critical warning or critical alert or number of command executed, right? Let's see the data is received or not. Yeah, data is received now. Let's go back to see here. Not it. The command is not triggered yet. Let's wait and see. Okay, so the notification is there where you can go and see that. You can click on the notification. This is a new release version. So you can see that detail of the notification, which notification sent, at what time, what reason the notification sent. So this is like a history of the alerts triggered by the system. You can also see the actions that you have created, right? You created a command, you created a data rule, you created a device access, all of them in the audit log screen where you can go and check that. You can also check the health of your device in this platform here in this place, where you see the connected, 3 devices connected, the time it's connected and disconnected, all those parameters here. You can see your device performance also here. So this is more of a device health page where you can see how when the device is connected, when the device is disconnected, and especially disconnected, right? Whenever the device is disconnected, you have all the log here that you wanted to check it. You can click and check that. One more function that I like to share today is if you go to the device level, not only here, you can also go to the device level. We created this device, right? Now you see that the device is no, the warehouse devices detail view is there, where you can see the device details, the location, the device status, and other things, right? This takes some time to populate. I will show you that in other devices, which is running in a longer time. Yeah, you see here last 7 days, how the device is connected. Now this was disconnected for a few days and then again connected. The last battery level is 52. The last payload size is 7. What was the last day time it received the data? So all of them, not only that, you can also see the data that received by this from this device, right? You can also see the data here against the devices. So you can go to the device detail view to see the devices. For that, you need to go here, click on the um, on device name, and then it will be loading here. Okay, let me go and check this out again. Yeah, so this is a payload that we received it. 1 second, I'm going to the command and then seeing this notification. Yeah, number of command is triggered 9. Oh, I did select the wrong one. Yeah, this is the one. So now you see the command also increased, the value also increased here. So this is the way the command is getting triggered and the data is coming into that. Other functions quickly run through. You have a support. You can create a support request. Suppose if you are not, feeling something is working, then you can create a support request. Similarly, you can also create a user. If you are subscribed to custom, user on this platform, you can create another user. You are considered as a tenant. You can add a user. Go here, put your user information, email ID to whom you want to give access. You can configure the name and you choose whether you want them to be just a viewer to see the platform or you want them to manage the platform. Either way you can give them. You need to give them the username for them to connect with. So once you trigger this send the email notification and then that person can connect it. Any person, you can give access and they can come and register and then they can use it. And they will be coming under your tenant management. So this is all the functions that you can see that, okay, so more important, if you are not sure what to do where, you have a detailed documentation available. You can go through the documentation pages to run through how to create the IoT hub access or any connections. So there will be instructions for you to explore it. So all the functions are available here for you to explore and learn and execute your IoT projects or triggering commands and things like that. The command is very important feature that you will be executing to create automation process. You receive the data from the device, you trigger a alert, you trigger a command, so you control the devices, and you can control the devices in a multiple way, right? You can trigger multiple alerts for the same data. You can send the multiple commands. You can create the commands in sequences to execute it. All of them is possible in this platform. Now going back to the dashboard. Now all the devices are connected right now. all the devices are sending data, uh, and data is continuing to receive it. That's on this version 1.6. And we are coming up with the newer versions, newer features. We'll be giving more features in the upcoming releases.
Thank you, Ari. Great session. I think so, folks. We have come towards the end of the webinar, and this will be the right time to ask the questions. One question I have already received from an audience.
Mhm.
So, does your system provide support to RF mesh?
Uh, no, RF mesh is more specific to the device level. We don't right now support it in terms of mesh network creation and management. Um, Especially, we are working on the LoRaWAN side of LoRaWAN side of mesh network, but RF radio frequency network level we have not started it. But this is
Okay.
one good point. We are working on that. Especially, we are coming up with a new function called Edge SDK. We are coming up with a newer function, or I would say that newer solution for the edge device network, which will be connecting on the mesh networks to handling in the RF frequency. We are working on that product platform, but it's not yet ready for us to release it. We are still prototyping it. Hopefully, we'll be releasing that edge network and management capabilities pretty soon.
Okay. One more question. What are the options available for sending data to Fogwing? How many protocols?
So right now, we are more device agnostic. So as long as your device, doesn't matter. No, you can connect any devices. So from the protocol aspect, we are supporting three types right now. MQTT, as you seen, API based one. You can send it through APIs. You can send your device can connect to our platform through APIs also, and also UDP. So you can send it through UDP protocol. So all three types we are supporting right now.
Okay. Thank you, Ari.
Any other question?
Yeah. One more question, Ari.
Mhm.
So, what are the network available currently for use?
Oh, network. Okay, so we categorize that. There are plenty of IoT network, right? So from cellular network to LoRaWAN or NB-IoT or um, LTEM. There are plenty of protocols is coming up. We categorize that as a two type. One is H network, another one is LPWAN. Under LPWAN section, we support LoRaWAN right now, which we will be doing as a next demo probably. And on the edge side, we support your cellular, Wi-Fi, NB-IoT or LTEM, because they're all more device independent, provide an ISP specific protocol, right? So network support. We don't limit it as long as the device could connect to our MQTT hub or IoT hub through internet. It can connect to our platform. We don't have any limitations in terms of networks support through our platform.
One more question.
Mhm.
Is there any process of sending data from Fogwing to device?
There is no process. So as we demonstrate, right? Sending data to device is more command. Is more of command in Fogwing context. You can send it as a command. You can send it as a full payload, or yeah, just linking to your OTA location, patch locations to for the device to download and install it, or you can send it as a command with the payload structures. But in the process is, there are two types. You can send the data to your devices. You can send it as based on schedule, or you can send it based on data rules. Right now, we don't send it like on demand command, which is the upcoming function that is going to be coming in the next release, where you can send the command without any rule, without any schedule attached, which is like a running on demand basis. But right now, we are supporting two different one, right? That rule based or the schedule based. That's a process. You either one of them should be there to send data to the device. Any other questions, folks? Okay. No other questions. Probably we can wind up.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Hari. Thank you for the great session. And once again, thank you guys. Thank you for joining. And we will be again conducting another webinar next month. So we'll be notifying you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you all. Thanks. Great day. Have a good day.